Hello, I'll be your instructor. Today we're going to paint this. And I'm going to show you how. First, you need to get all your supplies ready. Make sure you wear something you don't care about. You'll get wax paper, or you can have one of those fancy wooden palettes, that you can mix all the paints on, but I don't have that. So wax paper it is. Household items are always a must. You'll need a variety of paintbrushes. You'll want kind of some small, round tipped ones, and then you'll want some flat, big, wide ones. I would prefer wider than this, but this is what I have. So that's probably that right there is probably I don't know, an inch. You could probably go for 1.5 inches to get better strokes, or wider strokes, I should say. Then you'll need some basic paint colors. You should always start with your titanium white and your jet black, which actually I think is just permanent black, not jet. Don't get jet. Nobody likes jet. And you'll want your 3 basic primary colors: red, yellow, and blue. And maybe you'll want some sort of cup to put your brushes in to clean them up, but I don't do that because I'm lazy. So do it if you want. So I'm gonna put my palette right there. I don't know, is that the word, palette? Okay, well, you know what I'm talking about. The thing that you squirt all onto your colors onto. To create the background that we want, we're gonna start off with blue and black. Look at me, I'm already getting really messy like a true artist. You'll squirt some on there, a good amount, because we'll be using lots of blue for the background. And then you don't need a ton of black, because black is, it kind of consumes other colors. So then you'll want to mix this because we want the background to be pretty dark so that the other colors on top look really contrasting. It does not take much black. I probably should have poured a lot less. I will be dumping that back in because no one says you can't save it. Pro tip, use a palette knife to mix your colors. I do have them. I'm just too lazy to go get it for this video. So it might be hard to see on camera, but this is a very midnight blue. It is not just black, I promise. And you'll be able to see it when it's dry. Acrylic paint, which is what I'm using, tends to be darker until it dries. Or no, wait. Is it the other way around? Oh crap, I don't remember. I haven't been in art school in so long, guys. I think it's the opposite way. It actually turns darker. Whatever, it doesn't matter. This is fine. Midnight blue is fine, okay? Or whatever blue you want to use. Okay, so we're going to go back and forth on the canvas at the very top, okay? It is okay to color your edges, but you don't have to. You can keep them pretty clean, or later on you could put a black tape around the edges, or put this in a frame, whatever you want to do. The edges do not matter to me. So you can just go back and forth. Make it real smooth and even. And we'll kind of keep going downwards. And what we'll do is we'll gradually add a little bit of blue to it. You'll go down about 2/3 of the way down. So that way you can kind of integrate the next color. And you kind of want to leave a little bit of wetness. So we'll do some more blue and mix it in. And we'll see how we like it. Don't use up all the paint that you first mixed. Leave some of it so that way if you think it's too bright, you can always add in the dark that you had to mix it. And I'll show you what I mean. So I'm gonna start here, and if I think this is too blue compared to this color, I can either just keep going up and kind of mix it together, or if I need to add a little bit of this, I can go back and forth and back and forth, and you kind of want to just go upwards with it. I put a glob here, but that's okay, it'll be fine. Okay, so I'm going to go back with some more blue, and we're going to just mix it in. I promise this won't stay as blue down here, but you can also kind of leave it messy. The sky is kind of crazy. It's got clouds and birds and moon goddesses and stuff, I'm going to add a little bit more bright blue down here, and we'll keep going back up to kind of mix it. It's going to be a very subtle transition. It's not supposed to be too crazy. If you want to make it more dramatic, go ahead. Feel free to. These are all supposed to be unique. I'm going to add some more actual blue at the bottom. Very bottom now. I'm sorry that my arm keeps getting in the way. I'm not a professional here. I don't know how to film. So hopefully you can see on the camera that at the bottom it's really blue and then it transitions into almost like a black night sky. So then you have to wait for this to dry to start the next part. So you'll have to probably leave it for about 30 minutes. So just talk, play a game or drink, you know, just chat it up with people around you if you're doing this with others. Otherwise, you can just like chill by yourself, take a bath, you know, read a book, and then come back to it. And while you're at it, you can clean your brushes. All right, so the next thing we need to do, since it is a setting sun, is get these stars out. It's gonna be really simple. Some people like to flick the paint on. I'm just gonna show you an easy, quick way that's not as messy, because you would have to lay your canvas flat. You would have to get like a toothbrush thing, and you kind of have to mix like white with water, and sometimes I feel like some people dilute it too much, and so then you're not gonna get the bright stars that you want, which you don't need. You don't need bright stars if that's not what you want, but this is just gonna be an easy, like clean look to it. Okay, so really, like I said, you don't need a lot. This is probably enough, but if I need more, I can always get more. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna take a paintbrush, and you're not gonna even use the bristle, you're just gonna use the end because it's very round and sturdy, and you're gonna just dip it in. See, like that? And you're just gonna put it on there. That's a pretty big star. You probably don't want it that big. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm gonna get a smaller paintbrush in just a second. I'm gonna use up this paint because I already got it on there. It will gradually get smaller as you run out of paint, and that's kind of nice because then you can get different sizes that aren't so ginormous like this one. They're not gonna be perfect, that's okay, because they're stars. Okay, so I got a smaller brush this time. You don't want too much like excess, okay? So you're just gonna, you kind of just like want to do a couple like clusters. You kind of like want to fade it out to where you can't see as many down here. So you could even try to use the end of your paint down here so that they're lighter, because you won't be able to see them in the bright blue sky as much. You don't need to go overboard with the stars. You just add a few. We're going to be doing lots of other things. And maybe this will actually look horrendous. I don't know. We'll see. Or at least I guess you guys have already seen, so maybe you guys already hate this video. You do not have to add stars. You don't even need to add this many stars. It's up to you. You can even add different color stars, almost like, you know, how maybe there's different planets in the distance. Or, I don't know, are there different colored stars? I mean, like, our star is very yellow, isn't it? Or is it orange? I don't know. I just know what red star means. It's about the night. Sometimes it's good to stand back and look at your canvas and see what you've done. I definitely think that some of the stars I've done are a little big. I'd probably go smaller just for reference for you guys. But we'll go ahead and let those dry, and then we'll move on. Okay, so now that that's dried, we're gonna go ahead and try to do some fireworks. You can use any colors with this, and you can do any type of firework, because there's a lot of different kinds that people like to paint, and I'm gonna show you a couple different ones that I think look good on canvases, but you can kind of go free with it, because it's just, you know, it's a big explosion, so you can just do some crazy line work that comes from one central point, and you'll get it. So the first color I'll be working with is yellow. And you can get a round brush for this. So there's a lot of different phases to fireworks. So you could just you could just paint some coming up from the ground, you know, where it's like, oh, it's coming to explode. So you could do that. You could kind of just draw like a little, or like pat down a little white circle at the top like it's coming. So you could make it squiggly like that, or you could do this, where you, oh shoot, you come up. Man, I really wanted to drag this more. And then you have it like explode here. So what we can do is, like, you know, our central point would be here. And yes, I know there's a lot of like other dots around, so that's why, you know, you would want to use other colors. So we can try to use a little bit of yellow and a little bit of white. We'll kind of make it light, so it's right there. So there it is, that's the dot. So coming from there, we're going to add a little bit of white and yellow together. What you'll want to do is you'll start from the outside kind of going in. So you'll kind of put some pressure down here, and then kind of lift off. So you have a bigger part right here that kind of gets smaller there. So you put pressure down and off. Down and off. And you don't need to have these curved or anything. You can literally have it coming out straight from the point. I like to sometimes create different waves. And then you can make it a little bit darker on the outside. So we're gonna add some white to more yellow, because you still want just a little bit of white in there. And so then you would kind of go again from out to in. And then you'll kind of go in between these, but like a little bit further out. Okay, and then you can have the brightest yellow on the outside. You don't need to add any white. So again, you'll go from in, from out. You'll want it to be like the biggest piece. And you can put these closer. I'm just trying to make it big and dramatic so you guys can see it. And then of course you'll know that they kind of crackle and spark, so you'll kind of like want to like do some like little things around it. You can even do some like over here. Okay, so there's just one firework idea you can do. The next one, I can make it kind of maybe orange. I'll add a little bit of red. Very little. Red goes a long way, so you don't want a lot. Like literally that was probably too much. But you could also just use red. Like I said, these are, you get to choose the color. Okay, so this will be a very raw, like a red orange probably, just because of the amount of yellow I have versus red. Like I said, red goes a long way, so you do not need a lot. Okay, so this is the next idea. What you could do is you can get a sponge to kind of pat this like a little, like a circle sponge that like artists have. I don't even know what they're called. Or you could use your finger if you don't have that. It'll be fine. Just don't get too much on at once. And I'll just put it up here. So you can just kind of like pat it and kind of go in a circle. And you'll want it to be kind of like an even circle. So, I mean, maybe you could just even rub it into a circle. Ew. And then you can kind of pat it for that texture, because you kind of want it to be like a fuzzy thing. We'll kind of make this a little bit bigger, because you kind of want to go outside of it too. You kind of want it to fade away. So we'll just kind of pat it around. So now that I've got that patted on, you will take that exact same orange and kind of just make things come out from the center of it, or maybe even like a little bit more to the bottom center, kind of coming away from that, just whatever you want to do. And you'll just kind of do a bunch of strokes coming from that point, whatever point you choose on there. Kind of make it look like an explosion or like a flower. And then the next thing we'll do is we'll kind of make it, the orange, we'll mix it with a little bit of white and make it a little bit lighter. So again, we'll just kind of go out from it. This one will be a little bit more careful with, because you don't want to like mix them. You want it just to lay on top, so you could let it dry. That would help a lot, but I'm just trying to show you guys. And then from there, you'll just kind of take, you could do either a very, very light orange or whatever color you're doing, or you could do just straight up white. It's however you're feeling. I'm gonna do a very light orange to see how it turns out. And I might like it, I might not, so I can always tweak it. You never make a mistake. This is just supposed to be fun. Okay, so you don't want a lot on your brush this time, because we're just gonna do tiny little strokes. Again, it's better if you let this dry, but we're gonna go for it. So now you'll kind of follow those strokes a little bit with the white, very thin. Coming from the central point that you're wanting. I said thin, and they're not thin, but you guys can do better than me. I know it. I believe in you. Okay, so this is kind of looking like the Dr. Seuss, like trees. I can't remember what they're called. I'll put it up on the screen. But yeah. And then, of course, if you want, you don't have to because this could have already been exploding, but you could also always draw like a little line from where it came from. Okay, and sometimes, you know, you could also do like one of those sparkle, like gold or silver, I don't know, like sparkly ones, like just where it's like a solid light color. It's probably like a goldish color because that's, you know, like how. But then you really wouldn't want to add these stars if you're going to do that. I don't think, unless you want them very faint, more so than I did, because you would want to just do some line work from, again, a central point. So we'll just add lines. I just realized my fan was on, so I apologize if there's a lot of noise. That one didn't go out. Okay, and then you'll kind of do like ones in between. You can go in a little bit closer if you want. You don't have to leave them so fat either. That doesn't have to happen. But then basically you would just do like a bunch of little dots, you know, like small little dots to like big dots, small little dots, big dots. You could even make it more dramatic by like having these lines come out more. So we could do, let's just like decorate these little ones right here with dots. It's a little sloppy, but I'm just like trying to show y'all. So those are like the inner ones, and we'll make those go out even more on the outside. I should have made them like shorter and longer, but you know, you're learning with me. Okay, and then we'll do like all the little like sparkles out here. Again, you know, you can choose the firework that you like best. So you're not gonna like all of them, and that's absolutely fine. I'm not insulted at all. To be honest, this is my first time ever painting fireworks. So if they suck, leave a comment down below and let me know. Because I'll just say you suck. That's how it be. Yeah, this line was super thick. Don't do that. Like I said, I'm just kind of trying to rush it, trying to just show you. Yeah, I think if I were to do this again, I wouldn't make the line so thick, and I would have them kind of coming closer together in the middle. But you get the gist. And again, if you don't like that one, do one of the other ones. Okay, and then let's just use a pure red. So this is going to be like the last type of firework that I would think would look good. We'll do it just right down here. So all you need to do is, this is going to literally just be some more line work. You want it nice and thin. I'm going to do it where it's curved, like kind of dropping down. So we start like that. We kind of do that. These would be longer on bottom. These will be shorter on top. Like these will be more dramatically arched up here than these would be. Because you can always combine firework looks together. I mean, there's always different fireworks at a show, right? Going over some, that's okay. It's messy, right? Fireworks are really messy. And for a touch, you can always add just like a little dot at the end of some of them. Like, you know, they're like breaking apart. They're kind of flickered a little bit. Because nothing is perfect. And you can just draw a little ball if you want, but you could also leave it like kind of black space there. So there you go. Oh, you know what? You could add, so that is a firework you could do. But what you could do on top of that, make it kind of more, because, you know, more is less, right? No, I'm kidding. You should always stopple your head usually in art, and I might mess this up, but if I do, I'll just cut it out, and if it looks okay, I'll keep it in. So you can go with pure white and kind of trace back on the inside of all of these, or just some of them, and just kind of start from the point and go. Yee. The red and white are mixing a lot, so you could either do it while it's dry or mostly dry, because you can mix them a little bit, kind of looks fun. But you don't want them to mix completely, because then it would just be a pink firework. And so what I'm doing is I'm not trying to go all the way to the edge of any of these fireworks, because it would be brightest from the middle onwards. So you could just add a little bit of red to the white, so it's kind of like more pink instead of too vibrant. There you go. I kind of like that better, I think. I think that's the way to go. So add just a little bit of white or the color mixed with white so that it's a little brighter at the beginning, or like, you know, like where the explosion's happening, and then it fades away. I think I like that a lot. So yeah, these are the different fireworks you can do. These are the ones that I looked up and kind of just looked at and thought, okay, I can do that. So you choose what you want to do. You can do all of them. You can do a couple of them, change the colors of them, do whatever. As long as you have your primary colors, you have a lot of options. But you can also get pre-mixed paint colors, and that works too. So now I'm going to attempt to do a silhouette in the background of, you know, like a couple people like looking up at the sky and watching, but you don't have to do that part. So we'll just, want a little bit of black. And this is another reason why it would be important to make it really blue on bottom. I don't know that I have it blue enough, but we will find out. It's a journey. So silhouettes are pretty easy. You start with a basic head. Yeah, I don't think I made this dark enough. So you could do a couple heads. You could also do them bigger, like you're up close to them. I'll even draw like a smaller head down here, like, or over here. Like it's a child, maybe. Not like a young child, like a, you know, a teenage punk or something. So then you'll just draw some shoulders. You could draw a neck if you want, but they're kind of looking up, so you probably wouldn't see their neck. You would probably see their shoulders. And then one of them could be like cheering. You could just draw like their little arms reaching up, like they're like excited. You could draw one pointing. So you draw like a little knobby for the hand. Oop. Again, I don't know that this is bright enough to see. And then you just draw like a little finger. One little finger. Again, I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, so it's kind of fun to do like a little silhouette. You can even do it like a dog if you want. Again, you wouldn't see much of them. You could have brought these people up more or whatever, but you could do just a little dog. You kind of do like an oval shape, like a half oval. And then you could do different kinds of ears. You could do the ones that stick right up, like little triangles. Yep. Again, sorry if you can't see it. Or you could do the dogs like tilting their head a little bit, like they're curious on what's going on, like what they're looking at, because some dogs don't like this. Then you could draw those like floppy ears, like he's listening, although he would hear this very well. So yeah, there you go. That is my painting. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope that this was helpful. I hope you can have fun with it. I hope that you change it up, and I hope that you find a firework that looks good to you. All right, bye.